sure that there are people out there who still be skeptical of how you can do that, how you can build it. Is it really hard to build these pages, or how exactly does it work? Is there something that you can model as a template, or having it?
Well, one of the beauties of ClickFunnels is that it's not just sort of a cloud software. It's an ecosystem where the users of the software, who are all developing template type funnels for their particular niches, and they share these template funnels. And so actually all you really need to do is understand what kind of content you need to think about completing the messaging en route to having the relationship, and then ClickFunnels itself is going to give you access to a huge plethora of resources that will, you pick and choose what you need, and that's going to be plug and play in that particular situation. And of course, in this site, what we've done is we've anticipated that there will be template funnels that people who are using an early intelligent content marketing strategy will need, and that's part and parcel of our proposition, is to share those resources that we've got to encourage people to immediately implement their know-how. Developing content, as we've discussed, is important, and it's not that complicated. It's a formula, and it's a cheap to produce formula. So if you know your niche, you know what content to develop, and you produce the right content, if you understand the psychology of the marketplace, you can then tap into a ecosystem of templates that have been developed by other people and immediately just plug and play those and apply them to your own business.
Okay, that's brilliant. So other than ClickFunnels and having the social media accounts and obviously knowing your subject and addressing a specific problem that your audience have through content, is there anything else that you might need in order to bring your message out to the world?
Yes, because we're building a platform as well as using ClickFunnels, right? So we're building a platform, and the reason why we're building that platform is because we want to map the knowledge graph. And by mapping the knowledge graph over time, you dominate search. So you hear a great deal about this thing called SEO, right? Well, SEO can be as easy or it can be as complicated as you want it to be. It tends to get very, very complicated if your niche is totally swamped by, thousands of other people who are producing content in that space. The ultimate solution to that problem is to go micro niche, right? Produce content in areas that people aren't producing content. But the ultimate SEO thing at the simplest for guys like you and me, right, that don't want to become experts in technical SEO, what you do is very simple. You produce your piece of content that is designed to answer a particular question that your tribe will need an answer to. So you anticipate the questions in advance, even if you haven't asked your customers to give you those questions in advance, but you anticipate what they are. You produce a piece of content that is, in terms of the words and the title of it and everything else, is clearly designed around this idea that at some stage in the future, somebody's going to type into the query box that question. So you want your content to anticipate that that's the question that's being asked. So not only do you have to answer the question, but you also have to phrase within your content itself so that that question appears to be a fundamental part of the content. So that in the future, when people do the search, there's a great opportunity that you're going to be an exact match answer to that question. And Google will decide ultimately through the performance of the website and the progress of the traffic across the website and how long people stay and do they bounce and all that kind of stuff. Google have got all the technical wherewithal to determine the value of that content on page. But SEO only has to be as simple as, in order to map the knowledge graph over time, is as simple as using a free of charge, bog standard plugin for WordPress called Yoast SEO. And Yoast SEO gives you 4 areas that you have to think about completing that allow you to nominate essentially that question or that collection of text that represents what ultimately will be the query that will be found in due course. So a little bit of creativity in there, not much, And that's it. One plugin, WordPress,
and it's a free
publish.
plugin as well, right?
And it's free, yeah. Simple. You see, technical SEOs will be able to talk for days and days and days and days and days about the technical dimensions of what they do and the way that the value that they deliver through engaging in that so-called technical SEO will, improve your ability to be found. No doubt, no end. I have no truck with technical SEO and what that's all about. The truck that I have with technical SEO is that, guys like me and guys like you don't have the wherewithal to go out and become technical SEO experts, right? We have the wherewithal to understand what kind of questions and problems people are going to ask in our niche. With access to knowledge and know-how and resource set that we share on this website, you can easily go about producing that content in a creative and interesting and a remarkable way. The long-term objective, if you are a publisher in a niche, as we've experienced, is not to worry about technical SEO, because you'll never be able to master that. In the future, when you've got resources, you'll hire people to master that, and you'll have another level that you can engage at again. But just to get out there and be found, worry about producing, the content itself. It's enough to be, adopting the mantle of a publisher, which is a intellectual mind shift that you need to go through. Not complicated, but you don't want to be getting bogged down in technical SEO, because that'll kill you, right? There are so many ifs and buts and things to think about, and algorithmic considerations, and what's Google's best practice these days, and when you've parsed the data of 10 million websites looking for these queries, and you get this factor alpha against that factor alpha, which suggests that you do this instead of that, and then all the guys with propellers in their heads go, yeah, great, super, we could improve our efficiency of being found by 0.3% on each query. That's all rubbish, right? Publish, answer the question, solve the problem. Recognize that you've got to help Google to surface the content that answers the questions that you're positioning yourself to solve. Use Yoast SEO. Be as close to you can in terms of how that question will get couched in the query box for Google, and publish your content on that basis. Before you know it, you'll have 300-400 pieces of content. If you publish once a day, there you got 300 pieces of content straight away. That becomes a mini magnet in and of itself. Carry on doing that over time, you'll have 600, 700, 800 pieces of content. There was a website sold, I forget the name of the website, but it was sold to the New York Times about 6 or 7 months ago. It was founded by one of the co-founders of Gawker, I believe, if I've got the story straight. And what he recognized was that when people are buying products from Amazon, they don't really, because of the way that the web works, have an opportunity to directly compare one against the other, right? And 90% of all products that get sold are sold to the number one and the number two leading products in that niche. Yeah, something like that. So what this website did over the course of 2 or 3 years, it wasn't a long time, was they produced a comparison website that had no advertising on, nothing. All that it did was it contained a report of the number one product and the number two product after having been evaluated by a writer who was evaluating the technology, and then who produced a summary and a recommendation about which product to buy based on the experience. So no advertising. The only external links that were on those pages were affiliate links to Amazon to go and buy that product. Recognizing that the dynamic there was that you search for a product review site, you came across the site, the site's got the number one and number two items on it, and there you've got a 6-week report of how that product has performed over 6 weeks, and then a simple summary at the end. A large number of people would then go on and they would choose to buy the product that they preferred, and they bought it through Amazon, and they got an affiliate link. Click, and that's how they made their money. New interesting business model. That website, when it was sold, there's actually 2 websites if I remember properly. But those websites, when they were sold to New York Times for $30 million US, had 900 pages on them. That's it. The recurring theme is that Seth Godin, Kevin Kelly say you need 1,000 true fans. What I can tell you is, based on the Hong Kong Visa Centre success, you only need 1,000 pieces of content, actually, to put yourself in a position where your monopoly, if you continue to service the market properly over time, is assured. Produce a piece of content every day, so you produce 300 pieces of content a year. You've got to set some time off. Over 3 years, you're getting close to 1,000 pieces of content. So it doesn't take long to achieve a really important content proposition through your platform.